Troops, how we doing? It's the Eagle Podcast, and you should always give people who give you time. And tonight, I'm going to welcome on a guy who I think's listened to every single podcast I've done, but has got a good, interesting, difficult background himself in life. He's also a Christmas tree wrangler, which is probably the most awesome job I've ever heard of. It's Adam Batley. Adam, how you doing, sir?
Hey, John, you all right? Yeah, I'm good, thank you. Brilliant.
How did you get into Christmas tree wrangling?
Do you know? I just saw the job advertised. I was in a job at the time that I was trying to get away from.
Yeah.
And I went on Indeed and I seen this job advertised. And
talk us through the job advertisement. Did it say Father Christmas one's Christmas tree wrangler?
No, not quite. But it just basically the headline said Christmas tree operative. I thought, what's that? So I clicked on, had a look, and it describes, the description of the job was pretty in depth, and at the bottom it said no experience needed. We'll train the right candidate. So I thought, right, I'm having that.
Mint.
And I went through. Obviously, I applied. I got a phone call. There was a lot of competition for it. And I got an interview. When I got the interview, there was 8 of us going for the job.
Nice.
And then I went for the first interview, and then I got a call saying you're down to the last 2. It's between you and another guy, and he's qualified. He's got experience, but don't let that put you off. We were going to take on the person we like the most. So I went for the second interview, and then a couple of days later, I got the call and got offered the job.
Right. So talk us through what a Christmas tree wrangler does.
Well,
because I'm this is it. This has made my day.
Right. So obviously, where I work, we sell Christmas trees to from kind of like 4 or 5 foot high up to about 18 foot high.
Right.
The bigger ones there, the ones that are going kind of like market squares, shopping centres.
Right. Okay.
And then the smaller ones, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 foot, go on people's houses.
Nice.
So at the minute, there's about 100 acres on the farm of Christmas trees that I'm responsible for.
Right.
And throughout the year, there's various stages of care and attention that they need to make sure that they're in that perfect Christmas tree state come December.
Right. Wow.
So they don't just appear like that in December. There's a lot of time and effort and different sorcery that goes into it.
Yes.
I can reveal some of it, but I can't reveal all of it.
Yeah. It sounds like Harry Potter. It sounds magical.
Yeah.
Oh, so basically you're tending them throughout their entire time until they get felled, and then obviously you must be. Do you replant them as well, like the ones who need replanting? How does it work with that sort of process?
Yeah, so when a tree's planted, you're looking at about 10 years before it's ready.
Really?
Yeah. They grow on average around maybe half a foot to 3/4 of a foot a year.
All right.
So,
wow.
A good 7 or 8 footer, for example, that someone might have in the living room. And yeah, we kind of would take a block out in the field, but then plant another blocks, so we've got a constant chain of supply. Throughout the year, they need to be pruned, they need to be fertilized, general upkeep around the tree. So weed control, and a few other bits and pieces, but it's literally keeps myself one man busy all year.
Wow.
Until it comes for, what's called the harvest at the kind of November, December time, to get the trees down into the shop and ready to be sold.
Wow, ladies and gentlemen, tell me you've had another podcast where they've had someone talk about Christmas trees on. That's insightful, mate. Like it'd be one of those jobs where people obviously go, "Oh, you do what?" It's almost like not a real job, but it is, and obviously it's a lot of time consuming, and obviously you're outdoors all the time in all weathers. I take it, so I think that's a great. That's a great way to be, mate. And if I had the choice between doing that, and no disrespect to anyone who works in a factory, because I've worked in them, I'd rather do what you're doing, mate. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, definitely. I love it. I've kind of got my own little kingdom out there that
Mint.
I roam about all day, and I take pride in it. I take pride in the work.
Class. Do you have a chainsaw?
I do, yeah.
Ah, mint.
Yeah.
Now we're talking. Yes.
And a quad bike.
A quad bike and a chainsaw, man. This sounds like the world's greatest job. They should do like a Netflix series on you and call you the Christmas King. Do you know what I mean? The Christmas Tree King.
Yeah, well, if there's any executives or anything listening,
get it done. Yeah.
I don't charge a lot.
Fair play. How are you managing COVID-19, mate? How's it all going for your lockdown and that?
Well, it's not a great deal has changed for myself and my family at home because my missus is classed as a key worker.
Yeah.
She works in communications, so she's still working. I'm still working because I can't work from home, obviously.
Yeah.
And I don't come into contact with anyone at work, really. I'm not 2 meters. Yeah, I'm isolated. So the kids are still going to school. And so things aren't that different apart from the fact, that the things everyone's experiencing, like difficulty with shopping, can't go to the gym, can't go to the boozer, things like that. So I think I'm a bit lucky because I'm still getting to go to work every day.
There's nothing wrong with that, mate. Man or woman, we've always needed routine. People fall off the wagon when they haven't got routine. That's important. And like I said to you before the podcast started, I got furloughed yesterday, and by sort of 6-7 o'clock last night, I had a new routine in place for the period that I'm going to be furloughed, I suppose. And I normally go running at 5:15 pretty much every day that I'm up and about. And I thought to myself, well, I don't really need to do that, but I like to call it the champion's mindset. Do you know what I mean? Like all the great boxers and all the great champions, no matter what sport, go running early doors because it's hard to get up at 5 o'clock because no one really wants to do it, do you? Do you know what I mean? You just want to stay in bed, but getting up, getting it done early, getting back to the house like 5 past 10 past 6, and you've already done your fitness for the day. It sets you up on that great, the great running because you've already had a success. Do you know what I mean? You've already had one success in the day. I'm on 2 successes. I've made my bed and I've gone for a run. So already before 9:30, I'm on 3 strikes. Do you know what I mean? So I feel good. You talked about a few things there. Going to the shops has become like this absolute mentalist, hasn't it? Where do you have to put your gum shield in when you go?
No, I'll tell you what, I'm lucky as well because the missus does all the shopping. Only for the pure reason is that she doesn't trust me to do it and get all the right stuff. In our relationship of 16, 17 years.
Get that right.
I've probably done it. I've probably done the shopping on my own 5 times, and every time she's had to go back out because she's not happy with what I've brought back. So it's one of them. She's in charge of that department.
It's funny you mention that, Adam. I got sent once, mate, to do the big shop, and
the big shop.
and I went and did it. And when I come back and my partner got home, she's like, "What have you bought?" I literally apparently all I bought was like meat, yogurts, and bread.
Not wrong with that.
No veg, no fruit.
No toiletries.
Nah, nothing. No. So they've got to keep us right. One thing that really interests me about you is we know a few of the same people, and you're into your martial arts, and you were telling me previously that you're going for your coaching. Is this boxing coaching?
Yeah, well, it's in the last 3 hours. I've just had it confirmed.
Oh, nice.
Just earlier on this afternoon.
Class.
BIVA, the British and Irish Boxing Authority, have granted me a professional coach's licence.
Right. And they're called BIVA?
BIBA, B-I-B-A.
BIVA.
British and Irish Boxing Authority.
Right.
So,
fair play, mate. So what does that involve then?
So it's basically means I can coach, I can corner, you know, I can train professional fighters on a BIBA sanctioned show.
Nice.
It's something I've been aiming for quite a while, and kind of struggled to find my way in it. And I've gone down this route, and I've applied for this license, and I've just found out today that I've got it. So I'm really, really over the moon with that. I work with a couple of lads who've got a new gym set up, and that's literally ready. That was ready to go more or less the day that we got locked down.
Oh, really? Is this a boxing gym?
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a couple of lads who've been training fighters a while. They run their own shows. I've boxed on a couple of the shows. They're a good set of lads, and they've kind of finally got their hands on their own space to open their own gym, set up their own stable.
Yeah.
And I was going to be involved with them coaching, because I'm a little bit older than them. And so I says, right, I want to get this coaching license. I want to do it properly. So that's just been more or less granted to me about 2 or 3 hours ago today.
Oh, it's class, mate. Congratulations.
Thank you.
What a win that is. What particularly do you love about boxing? And before we get into that, who's your favourite boxer?
Oh, favourite boxer.
Have you got a few favourites? I just watched yesterday Arturo Gotti versus Mickey Ward. That someone had that on the highlights. Wow.
Yeah.
Wow.
Definitely Gatti's in my top 3 without a doubt. It'd probably be Oscar De La Hoya. It'd be my favourite. Gatti would be up there for his pure. They called him the ultimate blood and guts warrior.
Yeah.
But for pure technical ability and skill, for me, it's De La Hoya. I just like everything about him when I watch him fight.
Yeah.
He could punch a bit, he could move, he was fast. Probably fought a bit longer than he should have done, but a lot of boxers have done that.
Yeah.
But yeah, if I was forced to pick a number 1 favourite of all time, it'd be De La Hoya for me.
Fair play. I know we've spoke about him off air, but I think Joe Maposa's going to have a big career. I've watched a few of his fights now on YouTube, and he just looks so in charge and so calm in the ring. He looks like he hurries opponents to me when I watch him. He makes them panic, and he makes them just. It's almost like they don't really want to be in there. Do you know what I mean? And it's like they're panicking to sort of to get out, and he just looks so accomplished, and obviously trains over in Stockton, doesn't he? Have you met him? Do you know?
No, I don't know him. I've not met him. But I try and follow quite a lot of the Northeast boxers. Just I just like to see the journeys through the ranks, how they get on. I've seen him box, and I think that thing of being composed and calm in the ring, it can be unnerving to your opponent. I actually had it in a fight many years ago. I fought a lad in Scotland, and he was calm and composed, and he wasn't doing anything. And my brain was going mad. I was thinking, why is he not hitting me? Why is he not doing this? Right. And all of a sudden, halfway through the round, he popped me, and everything went white, and I couldn't see.
Really?
He's good. That Joe Mafosa, he's one of the ones I like. I try and keep my eye on sort of the Northeast lads.
Yeah.
I think he trains with Imran Naeem.
Yeah, Imran Naeem.
Yeah. And he's a really good coach. I've seen some of his other fighters like Josh Leather.
Yeah.
Who I rated when I saw him fight. I think it was on Sky Sports a couple of years ago. Hopefully Joe can continue.
I think I definitely think so. And what are you hoping to? You touched on it there. You've fought as well. Did you do a white collar boxing thing? Was it last year?
No. What it was with the white collar is a friend of mine, Craig Willis, who runs a gym.
Yeah.
I did a lot of my training and fighting under him many years ago. And last January, he ran one of the white collar programs from his gym for the cancer research thing that they do. And nice. I helped him as one of the coaches. I was helping him coach the fighters. So we got through it all. It was 8 weeks. Great set of lads and lasses who did that. And on the night of the show, unfortunately, one of the boys failed the medicals. And there was this poor lad left without an opponent, and it was just like, look, Adam, can you step in and help him? I was like, oh, you're joking. I had no kit on me or anything, so I had to ring the missus. Look, can you bring me gum shield and this and that down? And the lads, the lad had only had 8 weeks training. I've had years and years training and competing behind me. So I says, look, I'll do an exhibition with you, because he had 2 or 3 tables worth of supporters sat out there cheering for him. So I thought, I can't leave him without a fight. So I just jumped in and did the rounds with him, just so he got at least some of the experience, because otherwise he'd have got to do nothing at all.
Oh, that's class.
So yeah, that's what that was about.
And could you? How many fights did you fight? How did you fight before? Were you amateur? Were you semi-pro? Like what level did you fight at?
So as a kid, I boxed amateur.
Nice.
As a really young junior, and then I did nothing for quite a while in between. And then in my early 20s, when I started Thai boxing,
right? Okay.
Or Muay Thai, as it's traditionally known. And I fought amateur. I fought what's called Pro-Am, where you've got some of the protective equipment on and some of it not.
Yeah.
And then I fought full professional as well, without any of the padding or protective equipment, just your gloves and your gum shield and your shorts on.
Wow, and how many fights did you have at that sort of level?
In total, I think it was about 7 or 8.
Oh, that's decent,
including all the amateurs, and I had a few what you call inter clubs as well.
Right, cool.
Where you basically go to a gym and fight someone in their gym, kind of thing, but it's not full on. It's more of a hard spar.
Do you know? Do you have anything to do with Spenny Boxing? Do you know anyone from Spenny Boxing?
No.
Do you know? My uncle, Terry Schofield, aka Peter Pan, was sort of head boy at Spenny Boxing for a long time, and now in his later years, he's down at Shildon Boxing Club, and he helps sort of coach and train a lot of the young kids coming through. Like he's got some funny stories from being a boxer. He was really good. What's it like taking a whack when you're fighting someone who can actually throw a punch, and it's not Johnny big lad from down the town who's throwing the kebab shop specials around?
Well, it's your first, when you're new and your first fight, maybe. It's a bit of a shock, it was for me. It was, because you've only had the taste of sparring in the gym with big gloves on. Yeah. 16-ounce gloves on. And then you get in the ring and you're fighting in 10-ounce, or I not remember one fight I had a fight in 8-ounce. And you get it with them and you know about it. But on the flip side of that, your adrenaline's going, and you kind of, you get it and you think, right, I'm not made of glass. I can take a punch. It's not so bad. I think that was my reaction to it, and how I overcame and the nerves a lot of the time. Because you at first you're terrified of getting hit in sparring when you first start. Never mind the fight, and then you take a few and you think, look, I can do this. It's not so bad. Obviously, the flip side of that is not just taking shots for fun, because
don't do that.
can do a lot of damage.
Don't do that. Yeah, you don't want to be taking shots for fun. So when the COVID-19 finishes, you'll be in there training, helping the youngsters. Why do you think it's important that boxing is promoted for youngsters? And obviously, a lot of people who've got into boxing have come from troubled childhoods or crime, or maybe that's just a stereotype. But why do you think it's so important, or why would you encourage someone to put their kids into combat sport?
I think the discipline side of things.
Yeah.
Like you say, in the past, definitely, in years gone by, it's a thing where you got rough lads and lasses who were maybe a bit lost, and they found themselves in a boxing gym and they made something of themselves. Not necessarily went on to be professional fighters or champions, but the discipline, the regimented nature of the training, being able to take instructions off authority, kind of give them something, and they take that into other parts of life.
Yeah.
If you, excuse me, if you go into a gym and you look up to the coach and you respect what the coach is saying and you do what him or her tells you, then that can embed that when you go maybe for a job interview or to get employed when you're a bit older. And also it also teaches you that hard work pays off. You know, you've got to train hard. Even if your goal's just losing weight or getting fit, you've got to train hard for that to happen. You've got to put the effort in. And if you're going to compete, then certain standards are demanded. You know, you can't just walk into a gym and say, right, I want to fight in 3 weeks, get me a fight, and then I'll train. Certainly not if I was, you know, certainly not with my coach. It didn't work like that. And if, you know, when I go on to coach fighters, I'll be demanding a minimum amount of effort that I accept before I'll let you represent myself or the gym's name. So you know, when the kids get in, you know, it instills a bit of discipline, instills a bit of work ethic that they can carry on to whatever path in life that they take, I think. Yeah,
I mean, do you know Pete Shepperson, do you?
I don't know him that well, but I follow him on social media. Again, the local, you know, he's a local bloke doing his thing. I've probably had the odd conversation or comment on social media, interacted with him, but I don't think I've met him.
He's got a lad, and I hope I'm saying his name right. Lewis, is it Lewis Curry or Quarry? He's
Ellis Curry.
His brother. Ellis. Yeah, sorry, Ellis. Don't knock fuck out of us. But I watched him train in what used to be Paragon, and that lad is like I class myself as being fit, right? And I am fit. But what he is, he's 3-4 levels higher than where I am. That lad would hard spar or pad work with Peter. Then he'd go on the assault bike for like 30 minutes and just go bananas, like to the point where people like stop and look because it's like it's that much of a racket. You're like, oh yeah, what's he doing? But like that just goes to show you the dedication, doesn't it? Like what it takes to be, you know, you've got to be fit. Like there's one thing I would never want to be in a boxing ring is unfit. Because
well, you know, it's a long fight, but when you're getting beat, it's even longer if you're not fit. So yeah, Ellis was actually, when I was kind of in my early 20s, sort of fighting. He was I think he was maybe about 14, 15, and he was already a big name in Thai. He was going out and winning a lot of fights as a Thai boxer as a young lad. Yeah. And then when I saw that he'd gone into pro boxing, I was pretty excited to see him. And on his last 2 fights, I'm pretty sure he's knocked out his last 2 opponents in pretty good fashion, and he's kind of made a good name for himself now. So,
it's effortless. And a fight that I always liked. Well, I've always been a big fan of Chris Eubanks. Both junior and senior, really. But obviously, the fight where senior gets levered by Watson, and then he sort of knocks him out last minute with that shot. And like, there's the reason why you've got to be fit. Do you know what I mean? Because he took a beating for all them rounds off. Well, Watson was a fantastic fighter, wasn't he? But then still had enough in him to. He knew he had to do something big. Now, if you're not fit, you're not producing that, are you? Do you know what I mean? You haven't got that even as an option. But to be able to pull a shot like that out at last minute after taking a pezzling, true. That is the difference between someone who's very good and someone who's unbelievably good. And I just think it's hats off to boxing and boxers especially, because I think it's the ones who do it, like the ones who are awesome in it, just they blow you away, don't they, with how fit they can be and how effortless they can make it look. And if anyone's ever got in a boxing ring and moved around, it can feel unnatural. So never mind when someone's trying to like hunt you down and just terrorize you. You know, some people look flat-footed, don't they? They move clunky in the ring. So what did you watch the Tyson Wilder fight? Stayed up for that. Watched that. Wasn't what I expected. But Fury did tell us beforehand he was going to hunt him down and knock him out. So fair play. And you know, I'm a big Fury fan. I like what he stands for. You know, in his recent
his recent, well, not so recent, but his troubles that he had and the way he's come back from that.
Yeah.
And I was, over the moon for him to win the title back, and hopefully it sets him up to fight Joshua at some point in the future.
Yeah, I'd like to see that. Are they talking about doing Wilder again? I mean, I don't know why they would think to do Wilder again, because it wasn't even really a contest, was it?
Well, I think it's in the contract for him to have a third fight, but I've been reading a little bits and pieces about they didn't really make the money that they thought they were going to make on the pay-per-view buys in America.
Oh, really?
They were wanting about 2 million buys, and they got about 800,000. So if the demand's not there for it, the likes of like ESPN and DAZN aren't going to throw money at him again.
No.
So hopefully that paves the way for him to fight Joshua over here.
Right. That'd be an awesome fight. Who'd you back in that one?
Fury all day.
Right.
He's just too skillful. I like Joshua. He's got the image, he's got the physique. He's Olympic gold medalist. And he's good to an extent, but Fury's just natural raw ability and talent. The way he moves for such a big guy, it's brilliant. And I just don't think I don't think Joshua would live with him at all.
Does Joshua remind you a bit of Bruno?
100%, yeah. Bruno's one of my probably earliest boxing memories.
Yeah.
My dad watching it on the telly on the Big Fight Live. Bruno, I love him. I love Bruno. He was limited in his ability, but he had the heart the size of a lion, and he had the desire. He wanted it, and he got. He reached his goal in the end. He won a world title.
Yeah.
But yeah, they're very similar to look at.
Bruno lacked killer instinct, didn't he?
Yeah, too nice. He's too nice, funny, and I've read two of his books. He's written two. I think he's wrote three actually, but I've read two of them. And he's a lovely bloke, and he probably exceeded his limitations. Because he wanted it that much.
Yeah,
did better than he should have done. But yeah, he's, when he got in with Mike Tyson's a natural born killer, and Bruno's not. Bruno's a lovely bloke. So
Tyson was a phenomenon, scary man, and I don't know if you know, he's got a podcast out as well now.
Right? No, I didn't know.
Yeah, I'll send you the link for it. It's he's got unbelievable guests on, mate. But boxing, drinking, and drugs, I think, took its toll because his speech is very, very slurred, and it's like you've got to really listen. Do you know what I mean? You've got to really listen to what's being said, and like it's a shame, but obviously as a fighter, some people think he was the greatest of all time, don't they? He was certainly a vicious fighter, wasn't he? The way he went after people, whether the way he used to move and throw them combinations to the body, into the head, like it must have been terrifying.
Could have
terrorizing.
So much more. It could have been so much more than what he was, but he had his own well-publicised demons, and people around him didn't help.
No. Is that something that you as a coach promote now? Like, I mean, I remember speaking to Joe about his LinkedIn account and his like how he manages it and the people that's around him. I feel like that's improved a lot as well. Like, do you know what I mean? Like the whole package of like why you're associating with these people. Like there's almost like to be a professional fighter now. You've got to be everything, haven't you? Do you know what I mean? Yes, you need to be a skillful fighter, but if you're hanging around with the wrong people, or you're associating with the wrong people, or you're doing the wrong things, then you'll only get so far, won't you? And you'll never really get to the place where you could go to.
Yeah, you've got to, for a fighter, you've got to live the life, and that means keeping away from anything negative that could hinder you. And especially, like you say, in the age of social media now and the internet, you do one thing wrong, and it's all over there. People are going to know about it.
I mean, I think Billy Joe Saunders is a fantastic boxer. I really do, but again, he lets these things out, doesn't he? And everyone jumps on top of it, and then you forget actually he's a really, really, really skillful fighter.
He is. I rate him highly.
Puts him back, doesn't it?
Yeah, he's made another slip up there last week with his social media video, and it's not the first time for him. And but yeah, he's a brilliant fighter. I really rate him, and I'd fancy him against Triple G, to be honest. And people have laughed at me for saying that, but I think he'd be too slick for him. But yeah, like that's an example of it there. That something that you might take as a bit of a joke, the next person certainly will not, and it's going to damage you. He's had his belt stripped off him once before, I think.
Yeah, and especially if you're going to put it on social media, there's some jokes you tell in between your friends and your close circle, and then there's some things I think, like, especially when you're a sports personality like he is, no, it's not good. Adam, mate, thanks for insight into boxing and sort of the coaching stuff. I feel like you're going to be a great coach for the up and coming people, and pass on your knowledge. But I think it's funny that you got thrown lastminute.com into a fight, and you went, yeah, I'll take it, because that's like says a lot about someone. That, do you know what I mean? It's a big character reference. We're going to sort of look at the special COVID-19 5 watts. Now, some people's routine has massively changed. Some people's routine hasn't changed. But somewhere along the lines, everyone's had to adapt, and being able to adapt is the greatest skill that anyone can have, because it's like a fight. You go in thinking, I'm going to fight this way, and then your opponent changes, and if you can't adapt to it, well, you're not getting your hand raised, are you? No. So, first one, mate, what does your day look like?
My day during this is pretty normal still. Obviously, as I said earlier, I'm still working. So it's get up, go for a run at 5:30, do about 5K, get home, sort the kids out, get off to work for the day.
Nice.
Come home and just crack on as normal, to be honest. There's not a great deal of difference in that regard for me.
Fair play. Fair play. You've kind of just covered it there. What workouts are you doing?
Well, yeah, about 3 or 4 5K runs.
Yeah.
And maybe 1 or 2 sprint sessions as well, hill sprints. And then I've got a bag up in the backyard. So some bag rounds and some bodyweight circuits. Nice.
Fair play. What have you started since COVID-19? Have you started anything new? Started to learn Spanish? Started to...
I've started, to be honest, I've always read a little bit and listened to podcasts, but I've started taking on a lot more positive, constructive material, whether it be reading books or listening to podcasts. Taking advantage of what's out there. Just try and educate myself as much as I can, a bit better, while I've got the chance to.
Yeah, that's a fair point, mate. That's a fair point. Fourth one, what have you stopped? I feel like I might know this one.
Do you know what I've stopped? I've stopped spending a fortune at Greg's. And I've
In
stopped...
Greg's?
And I've stopped spending a little bit of my pocket money on football accumulators.
Oh, right, yeah. Well, do you know what I mean? Is it a bad thing? Do you know what I mean?
Well, no, I'm saving a lot more money because I'm not getting a bacon sandwich and a vanilla latte on a morning from Greg's anymore. And
a bacon sandwich is proper old school working class, and then you've gone and got a vanilla latte. That's proper class.
Everyone's laughing at me for that when I took one into work the other week. But the taste's so nice, so
yeah,
I'm not scared.
Fair play. No, are you a bit of a coffee connoisseur? Are you? Do you like a good coffee?
No, not at all. But
right.
I'm a tea. Was a tea drinker. You know, Yorkshire bread. So
yeah.
But for whatever reason, I tried a vanilla latte one day, and I was hooked.
Fair play. Get on the vanilla lattes. Yeah. Fifth and final one, mate. What's the first thing you're going to do after lockdown's finished?
Gonna go give me mum a big hug.
Nice.
I know I've been soft there, haven't I? But
it's all right.
She's
wrong with that.
She's one of the. She has asthma.
Right.
So
okay.
She's one of the ones who's had the letter telling her to stay in.
Yeah.
For 12 weeks, and it's in previous years. We've not had the best relationships just through things in the past, but recently we've started to get on a lot better. And I just can't wait to see it again after all this, because it's a bit difficult at the minute when you can't see your loved ones.
Sound. Look, That's fantastic, Adam. Where can people find you in the gym when it finally opens up? Have you?
Yeah, it's going to be a new gym that's going to be opening up called Ali Boxing.
Right.
It's just off Borough Road in Darlington, just behind the theatre. If they have a look, if they search Ali Boxing on Facebook,
right,
they'll find it on there. Run by a couple of local lads, Yusuf and Malik,
nice
top lads, and I'm going to be down in their gym helping them coach.
Awesome.
And, do the best we can do for the new gym.
Mint, that's class. Ladies and gentlemen, it's been Adam. Good insight into Christmas trees and boxing. Two conversations I didn't think I'd ever have in the same 30 minutes, but there you go. COVID-19, it's crazy times. My mission at the moment, everyone, is to do a podcast every day, and just keep on getting interesting people on to come and talk about what they're up to. And if you're thinking, I wouldn't mind doing a podcast, then everyone's got a story and everyone's got something to say. So get in touch with us and we'll get you on. Adam, cheers, Mucker. Thanks for coming on the show.
Thank you very much. My pleasure.
Cheers, Mucker. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye-bye.